what kind of information
Yeah.
sharing activity would be more suitable for journalists? Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, a journalist now would always like to look at the constant developments, milestones in a technology, in
Mm-hmm.
what kind of not a day-to-day basis, but when it achieves a milestone, when it is ready for a commercial use for farmers, and know what kind of utility that it's going to offer. These
Mm-hmm.
kind of information from the company side, from the government side, regulator, we expect the regulators to constantly update the public on the permissions, what kind of applications that it has received, what kind of permissions it has given, and know what
Mm-hmm.
kind of technologies that are coming to the farmers. These are the two important stakeholders for farmers to know what is going to come, what is up for them.
Okay. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Let's now hear from, there's a question from Shatraya Utama. This is from Indonesia. And so this is directed to Professor Suwanto. Why do many people in Indonesia like to consume imported GMO products like soybeans and corn, but refuse to grow GM crops by farmers?
Okay, thank you, Pak Satria. So actually, we have a regulation like that in the government for the release of GMO. Uh, the one that you mentioned for the food, this is comes under food, not for the environment. Usually, the one that is planted, this one will go further evaluation from the environmental things. So, and this one has a lot more question, a lot more scrutiny, and then they have more regulation there. And in the past, this regulation is so complicated, but I think now the government also try to simplify that, so then that becomes better. Of course, that is still much take longer time compared to the one for food registration, compared to the one that have to will be planted as a seed like that. So I think in the future they will have shortened this time, even though until now it takes years actually. That's why until now there is no seed GM seed growing in Indonesia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. There's another question for you, sir. Great presentation. This is from our very own Sonita Baba. Does your course in molecular biotechnology includes ways of better communicating with the public?
Pardon me?
Okay, you are teaching molecular biology, right?
Yes.
Do you have some a course, or do you have some section in your course where you teach biotech communication with the public, for
Uh,
the public? Yeah.
okay, thank you. I understand. In the past, we don't have it, but I think in the future we will have it, because now the our education system also changed. They want to be more engaged with the people, with the common people, the public. So maybe in the future we will offer special course like that, maybe night courses for the common people. But right now we still don't have it, something like that, other than just certain workshop or particular specific course in the university. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Now, there's a question for Dr. Kumagai-san. Yesterday, we had Professor Izura, who talked about GABA tomato, a gene-edited product with health benefits, which is the first gene-edited product commercialized in Japan. Are there plans by CBIJ to promote understanding by consumers of gene editing, for gene editing?
Yeah, actually, we are very focusing on GMOs, so that to avoid the confusion GMO and gene editing, we intentionally not to talk about uh, genome editing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For genome editing, we are working with another network. The network is actually working for consumer education on genome editing.
Oh, okay.
We are supporting the network.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Can we now call in Mr. Kurmanath and Professor Suwanto? There's a good question here from Merle Palakpak, our colleague in the Philippines. Maybe we would like to hear what your thoughts on this. For having to have a most effective way to communicate. Wait a minute. Most effective. Okay. Is it, what's your experience in communicating GM to farmers and in convincing them to plant GM? Do you anticipate that when you talk to the farmers, they will effectively or they will immediately plant GM? Or what are your experiences in the field on that? Can we start with Mr. Kurmanath, please, as a journalist?
Yeah, actually, that is a very interesting question. But no, thing is, we should understand one thing, that no, a role of a journalist is very important, but it is very small. Journalists need to constantly disseminate good information, fact based, and no, with updates. So, if I may say so, there ends the matter. A reporter should get constant flow of information from the stakeholders. He needs to present them so that no, he expects the reader to take an informed decision. I don't know, he will believe in a reporter, he will believe in a newspaper reporter and no go to the farm tomorrow buying a packet of GM seeds. That's not going to happen. But no, over a period of time, he gathers information, he reads them. If farmers cannot, most of the, in Southeast Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, farmers are not educated much. But no,
Mhm.
the idea should be, we need to constantly put out fact based, truth based information to the ecosystem, anticipating understanding of the issues by the stakeholders. If you do
Yeah.
this over a period of time, they will read it, they will understand it, probably they will follow.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. That's a perspective from a journalist. Now let's hear from a scientist, Dr. Suwanto. Do you think, yeah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. For communicating with farmer, actually, quite easy because what they just look at is the profit or the yield that just come finally will translate to the profit. And in Indonesia, they are very enthusiastic, but then they are waiting. Where is the seed? Actually, that is the things.
Yeah.
In farmers' perspective, they just want to see whether this is profitable for them and make them easier to work rather than doing all of the time in the field, for example, like that. So right now, that's why we are trying to simplify the regulation so that we can get the GMO seed in a shorter time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And then from our friend, Dr. Kumagai, please.
Question is communication with farmer.
Yes, sir. If you communicate with the farmer, do you think it will effectively make them to plant GM crops?
Yeah, actually, in Japan, no GM is cultivated, so that we don't make any serious discussion or communication with farmers. But we know some young farmer, he is working for organic, and we invited him to a screening event of food evolution. Actually, the person really impressed from the food evolution film. So that even a farmer, it is very important to communicate and educate them.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'm not sure if
Yeah.
they need to cultivate, we don't know what kind of reactions they may have.
Okay. Yes, sir. Maybe it's when more young farmers learn the biotech crops will make their farming system more economical and less labor, then they will start planting biotech crops in Japan.
Yeah.
So here's another question. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all of your responses. There's another question here for Dr. Suwanto. What can be the effective communication intervention to enable positive development in biotech policy in Indonesia currently?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this question.
It's
I
from
think,
Jenny Panopio. Okay.
yeah, I think in Indonesia so far that we have done is just doing more communication with the public. That is, but then we also have to make them understand, because farmers and also the public, they also in nowadays, they are not like in the past. They can check the Google, they check many things also. So that's why we have to be able to present to them that is like what the reason, what is the reason why we do this one. We could answer. We cannot just only say it is safe or it is not safe, like that. So we have to put in what is the reason of this one with scientific point or the data, if possible, like this one. It is very important, I think.
Thank you, sir. There's one question here, which is a little bit, I don't know how you will respond to this, but if there is some slight effect on specific person found in GM developed crops, should it be put in communication as early warning or no? Oh no, I don't think this would be a good question to respond to. I'm sorry, Alexander. Okay, so maybe at this point, since I don't have any more questions on the Q&A and the chat box, can we ask each one of you maybe for 2 minutes on what key takeaways that you can share to our participants, our farmers, on your experiences in communication? Just your last words on your topic, please. So let's start with Mr. Kurmanath.
See, we should not sensationalize things. Actually, this is to answer the questions. No, the question asked by one of the participants. You should not sensationalize things, but you should not forget that you have to record the development. You talk to the stakeholders. If it is a health issue, you talk to a doctor or a body, ideally an association of doctors. You talk to them and stakeholders, the scientist who is involved in research. It should be a story should be a holistic thing. You should not sensationalize something for eyeballs. You should give, I practice this on a regular basis, and I advise all the budding reporters to follow this, is you cannot and you should not take sides. You may have a personal opinion, you write an opinion piece on that, but when you are writing news reports, you have to follow this say golden thumbs up thumbs rule is, you should not take sides. You talk to a scientist, you report that. You talk to a farmer, you report that. And you talk to an activist, you report that. You present all these facts, if not in one report, in a matter of, say, in a week or in 10 days, you capture all the views and present a holistic picture to the reader. The reader, don't think that reader is not dumb. Reader is a wise fellow, a discerning fellow, and no, reader is not an abstract thing also. From some a semi-literate to very, a doctorate guy, all read, they form an opinion on you. Remember that. If you are trying to do something mischief, they will understand, they will make a mental mark of you. You remember this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumarat. And now Professor Suwanto, please.
Okay, for my words is quote like, our best thoughts uh, comes from others actually. So that's our best thoughts come from others. So we should always learn from communication, better communication, because technology is something that we cannot avoid. We have to face it. And that's why we have to adapt and try to utilize it wisely. Oh, I think that's it from you. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much. And then from Dr. Kumagai, please.
Yeah, actually, from our survey, people feel scary or feel bad to the things that they don't know well. So that's, as I talked, it is quite important to communicate with stakeholders. So that's, as I shown, most of the stakeholder would have some positive image on GM or on genome editing.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So before I close, yeah, let's give our panelists a big round of applause. We're moving forward to our next part of the program. So thank you so much,
Thanks
Dr.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
Kumagai,
you,
Professor
Thank you,
Dr.
Suwanto,
Rodara.
Rodra.
and Mr.
Thank you
Kurmanath.
all.
Thank you,
Yes,
Rodara
thank
and
you.
fellow panelists.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Yes.